Hi guys. For those who don't know me, my name is Kathleen. I am a homeschool graduate who's now homeschooling my own two kids, and I would love to answer for you the frequent question of how in the world do I even start homeschooling? Where do I start? So, first off, I would suggest you go to Homeschool Legal Defense's website. They are an of organization of lawyers dedicated to helping homeschoolers navigate all the legal requirements and also help defend you if social services ever comes to you or there's any question about you and your homeschool status. So go to their website. They have requirements by state, and if you're in Canada, they have specific requirements for provinces as well. Um, each state has its own requirements. So start there because that will help guide you into what you need to be looking for specifically in curriculum, in schedules, and everything related to homeschooling. Um, Once you do that, I would suggest the second thing you do is kind of readjust, if I can say it that way, to readjust your viewpoint of what it actually is to learn and what it looks like to learn. Because the traditional school method is not really used by most homeschoolers. Um, we we do not have a teacher standing in front of a whiteboard lecturing or in front of a map. It's a lot more organic, a lot more intuitive, even because your goal as a homeschool parent or grandparent or whatever role you fill is to teach your child how to teach themselves. That is the definition of a successful homeschooler, to teach your child how to get the information for themselves. And that means as they get older, they're going to be a lot more independent in their education. Now, this is a big topic, so there's going to be another video that I'm going to do on it, so you can go find that. But just be aware that homeschooling really does not look anything like you imagine as it's done in a public or private school. Okay, third thing, and this is a kind of a don't, which um, is a homeschool advice that's given to a lot of people who are looking into it. Do not, and I say this again, do not, can I emphasize this more? Do not look into homeschool methods or styles. And I say that because you would not ask a person who wants to cook dinner to go to culinary school in order to follow a recipe. You just give them a good, reliable recipe that is easy to follow. And not every recipe is created equal, but you do not need to be a culinary trained chef in order to cook dinner. And that is what's going on when those people give advice to go research methods. They're basically asking you to go out and figure out how to create a curriculum for yourself. And you don't need to do that. There's hundreds of different curriculums out there. So don't get bogged down. Yes, by all means, if you're interested, you can go look eventually or even now, but don't let that overwhelm you. Um, you don't have to become an expert on education in order to homeschool. That's what the curriculum is for. So, having said that third point, let's go into the fourth point. Choose a curriculum. And I'm going to suggest that you start with only two. Just start with math and language arts. And I say that because there, like I said, are hundreds of options out there. And I'm a homeschool graduate, and one would think that I'd be comfortable with looking into curriculum. But when I started looking into preschool options for my son, I got overwhelmed as a homeschool graduate. So just be aware. It's a lot. It's a lot to wade through, and you feel like you're missing something constantly. Like, oh, I didn't know about that. Is that better than this? So just keep it simple. Keep it simple and do math and language arts, and that's your basic components of education. And language arts includes reading, spelling, grammar, writing, whatever age level your child is at, because they're going to need different things based on their age level and their grade level. And then once you are gaining more confidence in homeschooling, you can by all means add more subjects in, whether that's 6 months in, 1 year in, whatever that mark is for you. And once you start adding stuff in, that is also probably a time that you can figure out, oh, I picked this math curriculum. for my son, but it's not working for him. So this science curriculum is probably not going to work for him either. I think we need to choose something else because this piece right here, he and the curriculum just not working together. Or oh, this language arts curriculum is really good for my daughter, and the same company makes a history curriculum that looks like it could be really good too. So as you start using some of these things, that can help you focus on what kinds of things you need to look for in newer curriculum or newer subjects. And that's also a little bit of the researching methods, because as you use stuff, you can figure out what works for you, what works for your family, what works for your child. And yeah, it's a little bit of an experimental guide right there. And that's my final point. Homeschooling is kind of a grand trial and error. You are constantly adjusting. You are not setting anything in stone. I have known people, and actually did it myself with my son, started a curriculum 1 month in, you can tell absolutely it is not going to work. So get rid of it. I did that, like I said, just a few months ago with my son with his math curriculum because it was way too easy for him. He was bored. He was not engaged at all. So I ditched it and bought something new, and he's loving what he's got. So I'm going to stay with that for years. So it is an experiment, and it also changes on where your family's at, whether there's a job loss, so you need to, pinch pennies, or maybe you're getting a part-time job or having a new baby, or there's a lot more extracurricular activities like sports and theater or whatever your kids are involved in, so they need more independence. So it's not going to be so much the family group subjects that you as an adult lead, or maybe your child just is getting more independent and they don't want you to be leading them through lessons anyways. It's going to change. It's going to change every year, every 6 months. And you'll adjust. You'll find things that work for you, find things that doesn't work for your child, and you'll figure it out. You can try things new. That's the other best great thing about homeschooling. It's a lot of opportunities to try things, to see if your child likes something. So you want to add in an art curriculum? Great. You can do video classes and try it out, and you can start whenever with that. So homeschooling is great. It's exploration. It is truly finding something that fits your child, that fits your budget, your lifestyle, fits your ideals, and encouraging your child to just run with it, go from there. I absolutely do not regret being homeschooled. I loved it. It was great for me, and it did prepare me well for life. So I am hoping that this video and the ones following answer some of your questions, and let me know in the comments if you got anything else you want me to cover, and I will be sure to do that.